SignalMan's Twilight, written by Adrian, Vaughan, and read by Needham. Chapter 1. A Close-Run Thing. Shrill steam screamed skywards from tank engine 1644 as she stood unattended by the branch line water column at Uffington Station, while at the down main line platform the three maroon coaches of the 8:15 to Swindon stood silently behind a Didcot Mogul, 63. 50 yards away along the platform, the door of the signal box opened. 3 men came out, clattered down the steps and walked towards the roaring tank engine. First, as was only proper, came the driver, Bert Maynard, tall, slim and middle-aged, carrying the wooden train staff, which was his authority and security for taking the train along the single-track branch to Farringdon. Next came his fireman, Pete Jones, red-haired, tubby, not long out of school and carrying the tea can. And bringing up the rear was myself, off duty from the signal box until 2 o'clock, and full of excitement at driving the branch goods to Farringdon and back. The three of us squeezed into the engine's narrow cab as the passenger train slid away from its platform. Pete put the tea can on the shelf above the fire hole, and then stood in the doorway, leaving Bert the fireman's position, while I checked over the whole situation. Gauges, brakes, looking back for the guard, feeling very conscious of my position and very proud of Bert's great kindness in allowing me the privilege of driving his engine. Pete passed me the guards right away, and with a gentle opening of the regulator, I put the train in motion. 1644 was loaded only lightly, about 10 wagons, so her hollow rasping exhaust beat was almost drowned by the squealing and creaking of her wheels on the sharp curve leaving the station. Bert had turned the boiler water feed on as we cleared the curve and headed downhill. The safety valves closed and there was blessed quiet in which to hear her exhaust. The line dropped steeply for half a mile, and then rose as steeply for well over a mile up Barrowbush Hill. "There's some fine big mushrooms over there in the season," called Bert, pointing out on my side of the engine. "Just in that corner by those briars. Have 'em for early turn breakfast if you get in early enough to pick 'em." We stormed up Barrowbush Hill in fine style, Pete grumbling about the damage I was doing to his fire, but Bert only laughed. "What are you worried about? I'm fireman today and I'm used to these quality street drivers." After I shunted the yard at Farringdon and formed the train up for the return journey, the tea was poured, and I asked Bert, "Why is the driver who hurried a quality street driver?" Bert settled his back against the bunker doors and sipped his tea. "That was the name we gave to the speed fiends, flogging their firemen to death for the glory of a 5-minute early arrival in Paddington." "Yes, but why quality street? Surely they weren't quality drivers." "Well, they thought so anyhow," he replied. "Right away," shouted Pete. I eased the regulator open and we set out sedately for Uffington. "No, what it was this," continued Bert. "You've heard of the Cheltenham Flyer? The 240 booked Swindon to Paddington, 77 miles in 65 minutes, I said. "Yeah, that's about it," agreed Bert. "Well, the Cockneys had the job and they started a fight a bit amongst themselves to knock minutes off the timing. One of them was a real speed fiend, Fred Street, a brilliant driver mind, but a stickler for all the rules, and a bit hard in his fireman too, from what they say. Anyhow, Streety goes up one day in about 56 minutes. He got himself in the papers, and they even took him up in a plane to watch the Flyer going up to Pad. They made such a fuss of him, he got even more uppity than ever, so the chaps in the den at Swindon started to call him Quality Street, because he was so toffee-nosed. The little tank engine rocked over the old track, uphill through a few trees lining the track. The main wantage to Farringdon's Road was a mile to the left, and below us cars speeding along as Bert finished his tale. Pete was scathing. "Yeah, you were all jealous they gave the job to the top shed instead of Swindon." "Look," said Bert with exaggerated patience, "there was nothing to it. A wagon will go fast on its own downhill. There was more skill in working over the M&S&W. Even shunting takes more skill with the brake and regulator to do it sweetly." The MS&W, the Midland and South Western Junction Railway, which ran from Cheltenham to Andover, absorbed into the Great Western Railway in 1921. Pete grinned. "Yeah, that's right. Adrian was heavy-handed with the brake twice. I banged my head on the cap when he was slamming the anchors on." "Never mind," retorted Bert. "That'll thicken your skull and make you a good fireman." I could see a grand slanging match developing and butted in. "Did the Swindon chaps ever had a chance at a non-stop run to Paddington?" "Not with a train as light as the 240 Cheltenham," said Bert. "But once when I was firing to George Reeves on 29:15, just before the war, we had a 7-coach special, non-stop from Swindon to Pad, and we reckon we beat Streety's time that day." "Oh, here we go," laughed Pete. "Come on, tell us the old story."